racetrack next. This is our final modified heat race of the evening. Final chance for the top 5 to lock themselves into the A main, and we'll see who makes up the rest of the B main lineup at the completion of 10 laps.
So a Las Vegas driver wins heat race number 1. A second Las Vegas driver wins heat race number 2. We'll have to see if a third Vegas driver can stand tall here in the third and final 10-lap heat race for the modifieds.
This will be Rich Lindgren in the 27L and Eric Reed on the outside of the front row in the 66. Reed having to go to a backup car. Was 4th in practice last night before having a weird-looking spin into the turn 3 wall. The car kind of snapped and went head-on pretty much into the outside concrete and wrecked the front clip in the 66. Their primary car able to put the backup together, bring it back out, qualify today, and now sits in the outside of the front row of the heat race. CJ and his dad Charlie supposed to be racing together. Charlie having some problems with the 59 machine. CJ out of Colorado National Speedway, his home racetrack. Nick Gibson, the 11G from Idaho, former Idaho 200 winner. In the late model side of things, dusting off the modified, bringing it back out for the Open Wheels Showdown weekend. Jimmy Petrie, part of the Petrie family, third-generation racer. With the 75, Robbie Klotz. And the 3 of Jeremiah Hill rounding out your starting field. Spread things out and wind it up for some hot laps. Get some heat in the tires before we line them up into 2x2 formation. Get ready for our final heat for the modifieds. So 4 Idaho drivers, some Vegas regulars mixed in with the pole sitter from California, Utah on the outside of the front row with Eric Reed. So a distinct flavoring of all the modified offerings from this region of the country in this heat race, and all trying to get in for the big dance for 75 laps. So again, trying to get some heat in the tires here as they continue to cycle around the bull ring, waiting on the caution lights to back around the speedway. As the field goes down the back straight, they'll get ready to bunch them up into 2x2, and we will see how Rich Lindgren can fare. We've seen all the previous pole sitters able to hang on for the heat race win to get themselves their best possible starting position, as Lindgren in the 27L pulling to a stop on the front straight. Tough break potentially for Lindgren, who has come to a stop. You can see the tow truck backing away, gonna try and confer and see what the problem is with Rich. Is we'll hold off on the start of this one until Lindgren's car is either clear, back in line in the 27L. Mentioned Scott Osborne, who is up in the 3rd starting position for a bull ring regular who comes out here pretty much each and every weekend, loves to race.
Scott has been a bartender at station casinos for, I think, more than 30 years now, and it gives him quite a bit of seniority. He leaves himself open Friday and Saturday night, so he can come out and work out his demons here on the speedway.
As Lindgren back up and running in the 27L. Again, will take his spot, leave back at the front as he'll cycle through and still be your pole sitter, as Eric Reed, the outside once again at the front row. California and Utah making up the front row. Eric talking with the folks at Speed Sport in the lead up to this event. Know that he was very excited to be a part of the Open Wheels Showdown and trying to get himself locked into the field as they get the 1 to green sign and sign to double things up, because we are going racing when they come off a turn number 4 the next time around.
10 laps of the distance once again for the Open Wheels Showdown modifieds. 10 cars, 2x2 down the back straightaway. Pace car will dive into the infield. That will leave Rich Lindgren and Eric Reed out in front of Scotty Osborne and Andrew Richardson. Jason Quayle, CJ Wilson. RPMs beginning to rise as the green flag displays to the field.
Richardson cuts down into 3rd in front of the 9 of Wilson as they make their way down the back straight. In front of the 79 for 3rd as Richardson goes way up the hill. Wilson already making up up positions from his original starting spot, has found himself up to fourth. Osborne right behind. Reed's on to the final transfer spot with the 12 car directly behind him. Reed putting the pressure on Lindgren for the race lead.
Tell you what, Scotty Osborne dropped down to the bottom of the racetrack and in that fifth and final transfer position. He drives down the back straightaway, feeling a little pressure from the number 12 who looks to the outside in turn number 4. But Scott knows the quick way around. He's actually going to pick up a spot. Move Scott Osborne to 4th.
Wilson up the hill. Here comes the 12 car to the inside as they're going to drag race down the back straightaway for the final transfer spot. Wilson had a huge push up the hill last time by, which made him fall prey to the 12. Jason Quayle, he is going to try and challenge for that transfer spot. He's got it. Going into 1 and 2, the 12 car up into 5th. Is Lindgren able to hold off Reed for the lead?
Yeah, Jimmy Petrie's got a front row seat for that battle for the 5th and final transfer position. The good news is he's in 7th spot. The bad news is he's got to advance 2 positions to claw his way into the A feature. But he's holding strong behind the number 12 of Jason Quayle and C.J. Wilson.
So the 12 continues to hold on. Is Osborne able to get a little bit of breathing room back to that final transfer spot? Currently sits in the 4th position, coming off of turn number 4. Lindgren still leads the way with now 7 laps in the books, 3 laps left to run. Still, though, can't take his foot off the gas quite yet as the yellow flag flies as the 75 Robbie Klotz spins in turn number 3, able to get it back up and going, but still enough to draw the yellow flag with 7 laps in the books. Lindgren leads the single file formation as they get into the restart zone. Lindgren goes, so does the rest of the field. Reed on the back bumper, 27L, as Lindgren leads the charge down the back straight.
Yeah, Scotty Osborne, the driver in 4th position behind him is the 12, Jason Quayle. Quayle going around in turn number 4, loses the handle, brings out a second caution here in this 3rd and final heat race for modifieds.
Well, loses the handle with some help. C.J. Wilson getting into the back bumper of the 12, and that started when he tried to take a peek to the inside of Osborne for the 4th position, had to back out of it, and then Wilson tried to take a peek to the inside of the 12, got into the back bumper, and got the 12 of Quayle around, and Wilson now into the final transfer spot in the 9, and Quayle having to do some work at the tail end of the field as Robbie Klotz in the 75, who brought out that initial yellow flag, now cautions breeding cautions, is once more 7 laps in the books. 3 laps still left to run as we did not get back to the start-finish line on that previous attempt at a restart. And Wilson having to, by the looks of things, go to the tail as he was involved in the incident with the 12 car, as the 75 will get told to cycle in front of the 12 and the 9 as both of them were involved in bringing out the last yellow, which moves Jimmy Petrie in the 1 car into the final transfer spot as the lights go out. Second attempt at going back racing with just 3 laps left to run as Rich Lindgren leads them back to the green once more.
Green and go at the goal ring. Rich Lindgren out in front, trying to open up some real estate between himself and the 66 of Eric Reed. Reed hanging strong. Just behind him is Andrew Richardson. Richardson closing in on the rear deck of the 66 car. But Reed back on the gas pedal, opens up some real estate between 2nd and 3rd.
So Lindgren continues to lead the way. Now just 2 laps left, make it 1 into the line this time by Richardson right there as well. Petrie putting the pressure on Osborne as the white flag flies. Top 5 under blanket with Nick Gibson. 1 spot out of the show in the 11G as they head down the back straight one final time.
Well, Nick Gibson's going to have to get on the gas, throwing that car into turn number 3. Doesn't look like he's going to get it done, Cole.
Rich Lindgren gets the heat race win, and Eric Reed will be in 2nd in the 66. Andrew Richardson in 3rd. Scott Osborne in the OZ in 4th. Jimmy Petrie going to lock down the final transfer spot in the 1 car. Nick Gibson coming up 1 spot short in the 11G. So top 5 again locked into the A main. That is going to finish things off for modified action. And we look at the flags in the back straight. Look at the flags all around the facility. The wind has died down, and sounds like it is going to be sprint car action coming up directly after this modified heat race. Is again fighting the weather conditions for about a hour or so span, but getting the track back dried and getting ready for some wing sprint car heat race action to set your field for the $50,000 to win 100-lap main event coming up tomorrow night.